Get over here, microphone. Get over here. So, I managed to do something I'd been wanting to do for the last, the last week or so. I'm happier with how everything is going. That's kind of a weird statement because, let's be honest, I'm not the world's biggest streamer. XQC is not sitting around wondering if I'm going to steal his audience. That's, just not even a thing. I'm okay with that. But I am happier about how I'm doing at this, which is the most important thing, right? Because what I kind of look at these sort of endeavors is that you're not running the race to beat other people. There's no point to that. You're running your own race. You stay in your lane, you do your own thing. You get better every day. You try and improve your process. You try and improve your content. You try and figure out how to deliver better value to people who take the time to watch you and pop into the chat and say hello and all those kind of things, right? So what we're doing here is really more about me. It's more about my improvement and what I'm trying to achieve, and it's not compared to other people. So what I find is that I think that I'm getting a little bit more comfortable with what I'm doing. I'm getting more comfortable just talking, just sitting here on stream and chatting away. It doesn't matter if there's nobody here, 5 people here. I imagine if there were 1,000 people here, it would probably be a little bit different. But yeah, I'm starting to get the hang of that, which is pretty cool. Which is something I'm sort of happy with. So that's good. And the other thing, for people who've been watching these streams now for a little while, one of the things you'll know, or you will have seen a lot of, is that during the first few weeks of this stream, I was kind of just making a lot of rookie mistakes, and I'm sure I'll make more. I'm sure everybody makes mistakes, but I was making a lot. I would be playing the game and the wrong scene would be up. So you'd be watching me stare at my monitor rather than actually the gameplay. Or I would have tons of tech problems. By my standards, I would have a lot of tech problems, and I wasn't happy with that. And all in all, it just kind of, I was sort of learning the ropes and figuring out how to improve things. And then I'd say over the last week and a half, I think I've kind of got it down now. I think I've sort of figured it out. There were streams early on in July where I would talk for a half an hour, 45 minutes of the stream, and my microphone would be over there somewhere. And so even there were people in watching the stream and nobody said, "Hey man, we can't hear you." And then eventually somebody would wander in and say, "Hey, did you know you're not really talking into your microphone?" So you could hear me, but it was really light and stuff like that. But thankfully, in the last I'd say the last 2 weeks, I kind of seem like I figured it out. And so I make sure that I have the microphone. I make sure I'm in the right scene. All those good things. But the other thing as well that I've been trying to improve is the process of starting the stream. It sounds ridiculous, but there's a lot of things that you kind of have to do. It's not just, okay, let's just push the go live button, right? You need to have a description, you have a thumbnail. You need to go in and set some things up in YouTube after you go live because you can't edit it before the event is created. So there's some idiosyncrasies about YouTube that were quite challenging initially. I have to say, part of the improvement comes from the fact that I switched from standard OBS with Streamlabs, their OBS Live plugin, and I switched over to Streamlabs OBS. It's just a much nicer setup. It's just much cleaner. I think there are certain elements of Streamlabs OBS that I think are not as good as StreamElements. I think the StreamElements browser view for scenes and stuff is good. Like last night, I inadvertently went to move the screen and moved my whole, scene around. That was just kind of dumb. I don't know. You can't seem to lock it in place, which is rough, right? And but in StreamElements, you don't have that problem. But generally speaking, beyond those one or two small idiosyncrasies, Streamlabs OBS is just a much smoother experience. It's designed so you have OBS, which is actually pretty powerful broadcast software. Let's be honest. But what Streamlabs lay on top of that for somebody streaming is pretty slick. So I'm pretty happy with that change, and that improved things a fair bit. But I still have some work to do, and that's a YouTube issue. It's nothing to do with Streamlabs. It has nothing to do with OBS. It has nothing to do with StreamElements. It's just the way that YouTube streaming works. There's the concept of the event that has to be run, and the stream runs inside the event, and you can't edit the stream without having an event, and the API doesn't let them put in stream details without the event. It's just convoluted. And so it's a little bit of finickiness, but I've now, I kind of think I have that improved. And so one of the metrics I've always had was from the moment I hit go on the stream and it creates the event and the stream comes up, I really wanted to get to a point where at the 5-minute mark of the stream being up and the just, starting soon page, the 5 minutes was the number I've always sort of aimed for. I wanted to be, comfortably ready, sitting here waiting for like 20-30 seconds and just staring at the time so that I could switch my scene to this one and start at 5 minutes. And that I did that today. I was comfortably here. And I think part of being able to do that is a couple of different things. A lot of it's technology. Let's be honest. Getting the Go XLR up and running on the weekend was super useful for the audio stuff. I think the audio's improved. I listened to the stream last night for sure, and I thought the audio was a lot better, which I'm happy with. I think I can improve the audio a little bit more. So my wife's brother, he's a composer and a musician, and he's an incredible sound engineer as well, and producer. He's produced music for huge events. He did, maybe 15, 16 years ago, he did the Asian Games in Qatar. He did the whole music production of the opening ceremonies and everything for that. So he's a very, very good sound engineer, very good producer, music producer, sound producer. He understands this stuff. So when we're out of lockdown and we can actually kind of get back to some semblance of normality, I'm going to have him pop around, and I'm going to get him to play with the EQ on the Go XLR and see if he can get my audio spot on, like just get it perfect. Because I think it's okay right now, but I don't think it's perfect. I listened back to it and I think that's 85%, but it's not 100%. So I want to see if he can dial it in a little bit better and make it sound perfect. So there's that. So the Go XLR certainly helped. Hey, Tony, how are you, buddy? And so the Go XLR helped, but also having yesterday with the Clich coming, and particularly the Stream Deck. So even in a day, the Stream Deck's been just incredible. It just makes all of the process so much smoother and so much easier. Like, I spent most of yesterday setting up my profile on stream, my profile on the Stream Deck, and focusing on the workflow that I want. And I'll probably do a video on this actually. I'll talk about that in a second, but it's actually pretty interesting. So I set up a bunch of pages and bunch shortcuts and everything else, and that's pretty cool. So it's been enormous. Like today, even at work, because I set up the Stream Deck to function with my regular job, I have a whole page dedicated to work on the Stream Deck. So I push, the company logo button on the Stream Deck, and then I can push one button. And the two apps that I use mostly at work during the day are obviously Outlook and Teams, and those launch on one button push. So as soon as I sit down to do work, I push one button and my two applications for work are up. And then depending on what application I'm in, there's a whole bunch of buttons that are dedicated to each of those apps, and they're color coded. And they are shortcut buttons for Teams and Outlook. So if I'm in Outlook, I can push on the calendar button and it takes me to my calendar, or I can push the new message button and it opens a new email for me to write. Or I can, if I'm reading an email, I can hit another button and it will reply all or forward or whatever. And same with Teams. If I'm in a call, I can push one button and mute myself, or I can do it on the Stream Deck too, I suppose, but I can just push one button on the Stream Deck and it mutes me, or I can push one button and turn on my camera. I have, the key light buttons on the Stream Deck. So everything is much, much faster. I'm now just pushing one button to do everything, it sounds kind of silly, but it's hugely beneficial from a workflow perspective. And the Stream Deck has kind of made that possible. So that's cool. And I noticed it today, all day at work, but I also noticed it even with getting ready for this stream. Yesterday was a little bit more challenging because it was the first day I'd done it. So I was it wasn't perfect. It was 90%. And today I spent the day I spent about a half an hour today just sort of dialing that in, which is cool, right? It's the whole point of these tools is to make things easier. And so that's good. And then the other thing that's been kind of good news, at least for me, is at the beginning of August, I set some targets for myself for the channel. Less about the stream, more about the channel. And so I set a target for myself that I would have 300 hours of watch time since I started, right? Because watch time is a big metric on YouTube. It's an important metric because you need 4,000 watch time hours in a year to be able to get YouTube monetize or YouTube partner. You also need 1,000 subs, but that's a different problem altogether. But the 4,000 watch hours is what everybody sort of says is the really hard part of becoming a YouTube partner. And so I decided that I would have a what's called an OKR. So I use Notion, and in Notion I have some OKRs for the month in this quarter, and my goal for the month was to get to 300 hours of watch time since I started. And I started at 117, so I needed about 182 hours, 182.2 if we're being direct, hours of watch time in August. And I've already passed that. So as of yesterday, I'm now up over 300 watch hours on the channel since we started, which is pretty awesome. I'll probably get close to 400 by the end of the month, which is 10% of the way there. And considering you start out small, that's pretty awesome. So, you know, I wouldn't say I'm close or on track to that 4,000 hours of watch time, but 10% of the way there, that's pretty cool. I had another OKR, so a key result or an objective, that I would do 500 views for the month, just for the month of August. And as of yesterday, you know, the last 24-hour period, it hasn't reset yet. For today, I'm at sort of 90% of that. I'm at about 450 of the 500 views. So I'll get through that number pretty well as well, which is awesome. So I'll beat that. And I had another one that I would stream for 20 days at least in the month of August. And this is the 22nd. So I'm already at 100 and I'll be at 110% or something of that number by the end of this stream, which is cool. But where I probably am going to come up short is I had two other things. I wanted to get to 50 subscribers on the channel, and I'm only at 31. I don't think I'm going to get 50. I learned some valuable lessons with the YouTube channel. I'll talk about that in a minute, but I learned a couple of valuable lessons so far. But yeah, I'm at 31, so I basically need to get 19 between now and the end of the month to meet that goal. But I need 1,000 ultimately, so I have to do something different because what I'm doing isn't drawing subscribers. If you're watching this and you're not subscribed, I encourage you to hit the subscribe button. It really helps me out. Also hit the like while you're down there. And probably the one that I'm most disappointed in myself, and it was the right key result to set. It was the right objective to set for the month of August, was that I wanted to create 8 standalone videos for the channel, which would have been about 2 a week, right? And those would be a variety of things, a variety of different kinds of content that I'm thinking of producing on the channel. And I just wanted to do 8 for the month, and I've done none. And it's the 23rd. I might get 1 or 2 out the door, but I failed in that because I didn't manage my time correctly. So I haven't been managing it well enough. I got sidetracked by all these tech upgrades that I've been doing. The tech upgrades took longer to get here than I had anticipated. The lockdown didn't help at all. But then I also started trying to learn to use the editing tools, and that was a big, giant fail. Like, basically, I started using Premiere Pro, and I couldn't make heads or tails of it. I had no idea what I was doing. So that was a bit of a miss. And then I switched to DaVinci Resolve, and I kind of got it a little bit more, but I wouldn't say I was even basically proficient in it at all. And so that was kind of annoying. I think I needed to be more resilient with that. I think I needed to shoot the video or record the content and just persevere with the editing process of it so that I would learn how to do it enough that I was at least reasonably proficient at it. And I didn't do that. I kind of hit a wall and moved on to other things. So I need to get back to that this week. I think if I can set my goal that for this month, I want to get one video out the door. Like, it's not 8. Okay. That was a good goal. I should have done that, but I didn't. I really need to get one out. Just kind of it can't be 0. It has to be at least 1, and it has to be good, right? Because I can't just poop out a video and it be done. I actually have to put the work into it and do a good job. So I kind of need to get one out the door. And so that means I'm going to have to get back to the editing and all that sort of garbage. So I would say that in terms of where I've gotten to this month, I didn't have in here systems as objectives or key results because it's not really measurable. It's a task, but I'm pretty happy with the system that I've built in Notion. And so I'm happy with that. There's more to do. There's always more to do, but I think in terms of just being able to manage what I'm supposed to do, it's good. It's actually pretty good. So I'm happy with that, but it's not really an OKR. And the tech upgrades were another thing that I needed to get done, but you can't really, again, those are tasks. They're not objectives or key results. So it wasn't, hey Doc, how are you, bud? So I got them done, which I'm happy about, but, and it was a good result and it will help me moving forward, but it wasn't something I could track and say was a victory, which is okay. You don't always need a victory. But yeah, I'm reasonably happy with how things are going, which is good. I really am now. I'm going to focus on these creation of videos because, to get back to the comment I was making about some things I've learned, is there are people who talk about how to be successful on YouTube, and I think it's like a lot of online marketing stuff. You have one or two people who are proficient and really good and successful, and then you have a bunch of other people who watch their stuff and then repackage it, and so the people who like, hey, I'm successful on YouTube and I'll show you how to be successful on YouTube, the only successful channel they have on YouTube is their channel talking about being successful on YouTube. That's the old what I used to refer to in the whole internet marketing world as, Ouroboros. It's the snake eating itself. It's I'm an expert in what was it? It's an expert in being an expert. But you actually haven't done anything. So I think I'm going to so I don't pay attention to a lot of those people. And I try and find people who've been successful. But generally speaking, the consensus is that to get to the 4,000 watch hours and 100 or 1,000 subscribers, you need to make like 56 videos, and it takes like 4 months, and it's all blah, blah, blah. But I'm doing it differently than that. I've got the stream. And most of those people will tell you that it's the 4,000 watch hours that are the hardest one. Well, I actually don't think that's going to be the hardest thing. I think it's the 1,000 subscribers will be the hard part. And I think the stream is awesome for the watch hours, and I just like doing it. But it's not conducive to building subscribers because it doesn't get enough search reach in YouTube. So you have to make other content that's searchable. And you have to make searchable content, and it has to be short, because people want to watch sort of 8 to 11 minute videos. They don't want to watch 30 minutes of me talking and 2 hours of game streaming, unless they're interested in the game stream and it's live. Although I have to say, the VODs have done better than I had anticipated. But anyway, that's a different thing. So I think I have to get the regular video content happening 2 to 3 times a week to get to those 1,000 subs. And the streams will help me with the 4,000 watch hours. So I kind of, I'm not hugely driven for that whole YouTube monetization thing or the partner thing. I just think it's a target. You have to have a goal. I don't care. The money is neither. You have to be realistic, right? Like, if every one of your videos got 5,000 views, that sounds awesome. But it wouldn't even be life-changing. Like, it wouldn't be life-changing money or anything. A couple $100 a month, right? I mean, it wouldn't even pay a week's rent for me. So you have to be realistic about what your goals are. And one of the strategies I'm gonna pursue with this channel, I'm not 100% sure how I'm gonna do it. Actually, I've got to be honest. I'm debating, and I have a few different strategies and things I'm thinking about employing. But there's a book, and I honestly, for the life of me, can't remember the name of the dude who wrote it. I need to look it up. Okay. Sorry, I'm gonna just take a second here and put this in dark mode. How do I do that? Page zoom. Advanced. How do I do that? Sorry, guys. Settings, personalization. What? Appearance. I don't see the personalization. Okay. You know what? I'm gonna skip that and come back to it later. Sorry. I got sidetracked there. Okay, so there's a book that I read a little while ago by a guy called what's his name? Far out, man. So I probably read it about 5 years ago, and the guy's name is Austin Kleon. That's what it is. And the book's called Show Your Work. And it's a really interesting book in that what it sort of espouses is that if you want to build an audience and you're kind of wasting your time networking. And you see this a lot, right? You see this a lot. You see a lot of content creators spend all kinds of time chasing other content creators, trying to be their friend and networking. And it's silly. It's a complete waste of time. And I know this from other endeavors online and building audiences and whatever, like, you know, establishing yourself as an authority. And I think for a lot of content creators, especially streamers, the road to victory, let's just call it that, often goes through befriending other streamers and them, on Twitch at least, rating you. And that's how you build your audience. Hosts and rates help you grow. Well, on YouTube, that's neither here nor there. And it's not it's dependent on other people, right? You are not the master of your own destiny. You are beholden to others helping you, which is fine, but it's not the way I want to do things. And so in this book, Show Your Work by Austin Kleon, I'll actually, where is that? Anyway, never mind. What he talks about is that generosity in content production and sharing your ideas is the best recipe for getting people to follow you. And so what you do is you show people how you do things. And so that's something I'm going to employ here. And I've done this before successfully, right? I've successfully used this strategy to build audiences. So I have Udemy courses and everything where I've walked people through how to secure a WordPress site. I've walked people how to do SEO. I've walked people through how to build websites to make affiliate revenue and ad revenue and all these things. So I've done it, and then I walked them through how to do it and showed them the process. So I've showed my work. I've said, here's what I've done, and here's how you do that, and here's why. And so in this endeavor, I'm going to try and do the same thing. And I've got some interesting ideas for that. But that's where the videos come in. So I'm going to make videos that sort of show behind the scenes. Some of the systems that I've built, for example, are pretty interesting. And they use Notion as the tool behind them. And lots of people use Notion. It's a very engaged community. But I think I've done some stuff that's pretty different. So I'm going to show people how I've done it and talk about why I've done it the way I've done it. And I'm not an expert in Notion by any means, but happy to share what I've learned and show my work. Same with the tech stuff, right? Like some of the stuff I've done with the Stream Deck is pretty interesting. And so I'm going to probably show that work. I use some interesting products and tools. And so I'll do videos about that and say, this is what I'm doing. And so that's kind of the strategy. And, but I've actually just got to get around to doing it now. That's the hard part, is finding the time. It's, you can't underestimate how hard it is to work full time, have a family that you have to be engaged with, stream regularly, and then also try and make content, like other primary content. My original plan was to have the website up and running too, so I would stream, do content, and have the website. It's too much. It was too much. It very quickly became this not a chance. I need to kind of establish. I need to establish my content and stuff. Well, it's a hobby. That's right. It's a passion project, right? That's a very valuable point. I agree with you, Tony. It's very, very smart to call that out. But I need to establish enough revenue, I suppose, in this hobby so that I can actually just employ people to do some stuff for me. So like 100%, the first time I actually get any noticeable income, I'm going to hire an editor because I hate editing videos. I can't stand it. So, and I didn't like it before, and I've done hundreds, and I mean hundreds of videos that I've edited over the years. And you know, in ScreenFlow on the Mac, it's okay. I actually could buy a Mac. That's the other thing. I was sort of saying this to Regina in passing. I think Regina's still streaming, but I said this to her in passing. I was tempted to actually go out and buy a Mac one day, like a couple weeks ago. Just go buy one. When I struggled with the editing and install ScreenFlow, I have the Mac set up on a second monitor. I have like 2 spare monitors kicking around behind me. Set it up and do all of the editing of the videos on ScreenFlow. If we hadn't been locked down and I could have just wandered off to the Apple store at Chatswood Chase, I would have bought a Mac that day. 100%. No questions. I would have come out of there with a $2,000 Mac or a $1,200 Mac Mini or whatever. And because it would be the easiest answer for me. And it would allow me to be the most productive. But ultimately, that's a short-term win, because the long-term win is to have somebody else who's better than me do it and pay them to do it and take that off my plate. And there's probably a few other things like that. Ultimately, too, I'll probably hire, like the website will come back. I'll get the website sorted. And we'll get content on the website, and I'll get an editor and some writers for that. And so the hobby will become a business effectively at some point. And because that's just part of the hobby for me. It's kind of my nature. But we'll figure that out. But the money that this will hopefully eventually generate will just go back into people and things to help grow it more. And, you know, maybe eventually I'll see a financial return, but I'm not holding my hopes out for that. I don't really care, to be honest. If I didn't have to pay for video games, or somebody decided to send me a free graphics card to test, that'd be awesome. That'd be good. I wouldn't mind that. So I kind of have low expectations, but I got to put the work in. I got to get better, and I got to do the stuff. So yeah, part of the last month has been learning, and then we got through the 6 weeks of the learning, and then I tipped a bunch of money in as a sort of tech investment to make the process easier. So we're past that now, and now it's the go out, make content, and prove that it's going to be successful. But that's a good book. Sorry, I'm going to get a link for that book, because that is a good book. Here we go. That's a good book. It's well worth reading. It's cheap on Kindle. It's a pretty cheap little book. So if you're interested, well, that's right. I think it's cliche, but every day is an opportunity to learn something and improve at something. It is very cliche. You know, I'm getting better every day. It's cliche because it's not true. You actually get to an inflection point in your life where a lot of the days you're worse off than you were the day before. So you start to get to an age, somewhere in your mid 40s, where no matter, unless you work super hard physically, you physically work super hard, you get to a point where physically you are worse than you were the day before because the aging process has kicked in. But that's only one part of it, right? Like, I am infinitely more wise, or whatever the word you want to use is, now than I was 10 years ago. Right? 10 years ago, I was okay. I was old for my age, but now, just the life experience and things, I'm much I'm in a much better place now than I was 10 years ago, mentally, emotionally. Just my capacity to learn 15 years ago or more, like 15, 20 years ago. Wow, 20 years ago, that's a long time. Yeah, 20 years ago, my capacity to learn was much higher. Like, I could sit down 20 years ago and pick up a programming language in a week and be reasonably proficient. I had patience, and my brain was sharp and all kinds of things, and it just allowed me to get it, and it all just clicked. And now I think I'm distracted more easily and stuff like that, but I'm much better at understanding the nature of problems that go beyond technical stuff. So when there's a problem that revolves around people and their emotional and intellectual needs, I'm actually far more observant of that. So in some respects, I'm a much better version of myself than I was 20 years ago. But in other ways, I'm not. I don't have the same types of motivations. So I think a lot of those cliches are really fascinating. I'm just trying to get better every day and stuff. Okay, but you have to accept that that's not always the case. Anyway, it's interesting. Yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at. I enjoyed yesterday's session, actually. Yeah, it's a good book, man. It's a very quick read. It's only 160 odd pages, right? You smash through that in like a day and a half, to be honest. But it's well worth it. I enjoyed yesterday's S4 session, so we'll probably do another one of those. Yeah, I think so. I think it's game time. I'm actually gonna go do a quick bathroom break, and I'm also gonna change because it's very hot in this room right now, and I'm wearing like long pants and stuff. So I'm just gonna quickly go to the gents' room, and then I'm gonna come back and we'll play some video games. So sit tight. Give me about 2 minutes, and we'll be right back. See you in a sec. Okay, we're back. Now, before I get into the games, this is the problem with lockdown. We're not getting out of lockdown here in Sydney. I don't care what anyone says. We're not getting out of lockdown until October. We're no shot. I mean, it might lighten up a bit in parts of the city that are really heavily locked down. Maybe the rural areas of New South Wales will get out, but in Sydney, no chance. We're not getting out of lockdown until October, which means I can't get a haircut or anything. So, like, this is kind of ridiculous. I'm actually having to use my headphones band as like a headband for my hair to hold my hair back because it's so stupid. You're guessing it. No, we'll get out before then. No, for sure. I think when they get to 70 and 80% vaccination rates, I think 70%, they'll start loosening things up, and then at 80, they'll loosen it up all the way. And that's really easy. I mean, there's a really simple explanation for that. It's that the federal government will run the calculus. And, sorry, I just need to check something. Federal government will run the calculus, and there's an election that has to happen before I think March of next year. And if Sydney is still locked down and New South Wales is still locked down into 2022, there's not going to be a need for an election. You just change the government and be done with it. So the federal government absolutely must get 80% vaccination rate in New South Wales before Christmas and open things back up. Otherwise, they're finished. So I suspect that we'll start to see a lightening of restrictions in October. Where are we at? Okay. It's a bit bright. Let's see if I turn that off for a second. Okay. We'll switch to this. Okay. So this is COVID Live, right? And these are all the stats for the country, basically, with a level of detail. We'll flick on New South Wales because we don't care about anything else, because realistically, this is where the problem is, and this is the problem that needs to be contained and controlled. So right now, New South Wales, in the last 7 days, did 735,000 vaccinations. That's a big number. But by September, that number, by the middle to end of September, that number, instead of 127,000 a day, that's going to be up north of 150,000 a day. Because of the increase in Moderna and the increase in Pfizer will drive more vaccinations. Now, the key numbers to look at are these ones here. 59% first dose, 16 plus, 31.5 for second dose. ICU number is important, but for a whole different reason, so we won't focus on that. But those are the two numbers that are the most important. And then if we slide down here, we can see that tomorrow's a big day. Tomorrow is the day when the state exceeds 60% of the eligible population will have received their first injection, at least. So that's a big milestone day. Then in this will be probably 10 days from now. So, and it wouldn't surprise me if we got to this before September 1st, but it might be 1st or 2nd. So in a week or so, 70% of the population will have had its first jab. And then by mid-September, 80% of the state, so this is less than a month away, right? It's 2 or 3 weeks away. 80% of the state will have had its first injection, the eligible portion of the state. I think something the federal government's doing is stupid and it's going to skew these numbers, but let's just focus on this for now. So then there's these numbers here, which is, well, if tomorrow is the day where 60% of the state gets, its first jab, why is it 6 weeks until 60% get the second jab complete? And I actually think these numbers are very likely wrong. I think they're very likely wrong, and I think they're wrong because they're 7-day average numbers. So they're scale numbers, they're not actuals, and it's not a model. It's a straight line projection, right? It's not a model. And so what will happen is you can see here that, let's just pick the 20th of August just because. So on the 19th of August, between the 19th and the 20th, there were, okay, so let's just look at the 20th just for shits and giggles. The 20th, there were 120,000 vaccinations. And on that day, of the 120,000, 65,000 were first doses, and whatever that's 50,000. Oh, it's actually 75. Sorry, my math is off. So 75,000, and then about 50,000 were second doses. So a week, less than a week ago, it was about a 60-40 split, little more, sort of 1/3 of the doses, a little more than 1/3 actually. Yeah, it was about 60-40. Let's be real. About 60-40%, about 60-40 split were first and second doses. As we get through these gates here, that split is going to change where it will start to become 50-50. And so this number and this, or not that one's inevitable, but this number might slip a bit into from the 13th to, 2 or 3 weeks later. But these ones will get pulled in because there will be more people getting their second shot than getting their first shot. Because once you get to 80%, like most people are kind of covered at that point. And so I think what we'll see is these numbers will be accelerated. And I suspect that we'll get to this 70% number here. It won't be the 24th of October. It'll probably be two plus weeks ahead of that. I would suspect that we'll see this around the 10th of October. Maybe we'll write that down. Sean's prediction is we'll get to 70% coverage, double fully vaccinated in New South Wales by the 10th of October, and we'll see how accurate I am. And then I think once we get to that, irrespective of this new case number, if we get to 70%, I think they'll just unleash, they'll start pulling out the restrictions. Because what should happen is, while this number might not change, although it probably will, the concern is this number. So right now, where is it? Hospitalizations. Okay, so here's the number that the government, these are the numbers the government are concerned about. And not for the reasons you think. So there used to be this idea that, oh my God, we're going to run out of ventilators. That's never going to happen. New South Wales is never going to run out of ventilators. We could run out of people to operate them, but we're never going to run out of them. So this number, we'll park that number for a second. This is the concerning number. So there's 600 people in hospital, and 100 of them are in ICU. So for every 6 people who end up in a hospital, one of them ends up in a pretty serious situation. And that's dangerous. So that tells you that these numbers are very high. And this actually isn't too different from last year when this all started. It was about 1 in 5, 1 in 6 people who got sick ended up in ICU. This number hasn't really moved that much. What has changed is this number here. This number a year and a half ago, didn't exist. Now, this is misleading, and I'm not sure why the government stopped releasing these numbers correctly, but they did. So last week, they were sharing how many people were single vaxxed or double vaxxed. And now they only share this. But this number, I know for a fact, is single dose. So there's nobody in ICU. None of these 100 people are fully vaccinated. There are 13 of them who are single vaccinated. So they don't have the full dose. So again, you go back to these numbers. If we get 70 or 80% of the population fully vaccinated, then this number will stabilize, and this number will stabilize, and you're good. And eventually these will actually start to decline as a percentage of, so this number as a percentage of that number will go down. And that's the number you want to look for. Now this number is concerning, but not for the reason people think it is. This number is concerning not because we're going to run out of ventilators, which is a really common idea, although these things require a respiratory technician, I think they're called, and that's a specialist. They're not a doctor, they're like a nurse, and they have special training, and we have far more ventilators than we have people who can operate them. So I think we have 2,000 available ICU beds with ventilators in New South Wales, but I think we only have like 300 or 400 people who can operate them. And if you think that 24-hour shifts, right? If this ventilator number gets up to 200, we're in trouble. People will start dying. Now this number is hugely dangerous because this is the death number. So when coronavirus first hit and COVID first hit, this was the number that I was most concerned about. And again, not because of the ventilator issue, but I actually do know a little bit about ICU and ventilation. I mean, my mom went through it and I learned a lot about it then, and I just kind of was interested in it and I just kept following it up. A significant portion of this number are going to die. And it's not nice to say, but it's probably close to half. So probably half this number of people, 16 of 32, 16 people will very likely die. So when this number goes up, this is the leading indicator for your basically your death toll. It's very, very rarely does somebody go from here straight to dying. It's the elderly that's happening to, where they end up very quickly becoming an active case, being hospitalized, and then bypassing the ICU and ventilation and just dying. They tend not to ventilate people in their 80s and 90s. Mostly because those people don't want it. Because this is an induced coma, right? You can't be ventilated and fully conscious. They have to put you under. So you're effectively put into a coma to be ventilated. Because you gag, and it's quite, and then if you really want to get into this, there's a concept called ICU psychosis. So a lot of the people who end up in in intensive care and induced coma and put on ventilation or ventilation psychosis or something. And anyway, they have psychotic episodes while they're under, and a lot of those people will have significant mental health issues when they come out. So let me see if I can find it. ICU psychosis. There it is. And it's so if you've been in ICU, or you actually start to hear voices and stuff, it's quite bad. My mother, when she became ill and passed away in Canada, she had a heart problem and developed pneumonia and ended up in the hospital, and they ventilated her. And she would kind of come around a little bit. And so she would come around a little bit, and she kind of recognized that I was there. So I'd flown in from Australia. And so she had kind of recognized, I think she knew. She would sort of be able to squeeze my hand and respond a little bit. And, early on, she would nod, so I kind of knew she was there. But then probably about a week in, you could just see she was having these episodes where she was just checked out, and her eyes were open, and you could just see terror in somebody's face, and she wasn't conscious. Like, it's psychosis. There's no other word for it, right? And so this number of people, half of them will very likely pass, and the ones who remain a significant portion of those people will have serious mental ramifications from being ventilated for any length of time. It's quite sad. So this number is scary, but not for any other reason than the outcomes for these people are very, very poor. Very, very poor. Australia is very good at it, though. I will say that Australia, of every country in the world that went through the first wave, Australia had one of the highest recovery rates of people who were ventilated in the world. And we also stopped ventilating people before everybody else. So the ICU teams moved to things like proning. If you're not familiar with proning, it's basically when you lay on your back, your lungs fill up. And if you have a respiratory disease, that's actually one of the worst things that can happen for you. Your lungs fill up when you're on your back. So proning is the process of rolling you over onto your stomach and making you lay on your stomach, and it actually drains your lungs. And so Australia was one of the leaders. There were some hospitals in New York City and in Australia that started proning, and the health outcomes increased dramatically. There's some papers out of one of the hospitals in New York City during their huge outbreak where that was one of the things that improved mortality rates significantly, was proning. And there's some drugs now too that they can give people who have COVID, and it improves the situation quite substantially. It's not a cure. It's not a treatment. It's not a cure, but it's an effective treatment, I want to say. But it's an ICU drug. So they tend not to give it to these people. This is observation. We're concerned that if you're at home and in the condition you're in, one of two things will happen. You will infect everybody around you, and that's bad. Or two, you could end up here very quickly. So we would rather have you here, so that if you had to go here, it's a short trip, and we can, because the faster you can escalate somebody from here to here, the less likelihood they end up here, which is the danger zone for health outcomes. And I think it's important to understand that the medical professionals and the doctors don't care about COVID. They care about health outcomes, right? And that's really a super important concept, that their job is to stop you. By the time they get you, you're already here. You're already an active case. And so that the fact that you have COVID is about treatment protocols at that point. But their job is to stop you from going from here to here to here, and then into that unfortunate, unfortunate category here. They don't want this. They don't want you to be this number. So that's what the doctors are doing, and so their protocols have improved, and the treatment plans have improved, and their understanding of how the disease progresses. So, they all now understand cytokine storms, which, was a pretty rare medical condition for people who are infected. But when you have COVID, cytokine storms are quite common. It's actually one of the things that precipitates death is effectively your immune system goes into hyperdrive and starts attacking everything, and just you just end up in a massive state of internal inflammation, and it precipitates death. So yeah. It's a really good site, this one. I've been following this since it started, over a year and a bit ago, and the quality of the data is exceptional. This is an important number right here. The lower we can get this number, the better off we are. It means that we're getting access to people more quickly to test them, and so therefore the positivity rate is improving. So we're kind of containing things a little bit better. That's an important number. It needs to get down to about 0.1. And if it gets down to about 0.1 positivity rate, then the what's called the R naught, so which is the reproductive factor of a virus. So if you're infected, how many people you pass it on to. For a virus or a contagion or an infection to be under control, any kind of communicable disease, the R naught needs to be under 1. That means that you pass it on to less than one person, and therefore over time that virus will die out, right? And right now in Sydney, the R naught's about 1.5, which means that every person who gets it gives it to 1.5 people. And that's a terrible number. Things got out of control in Italy and Spain when that R naught became 2. So we need to kind of lower that number. And then this number here is a leading indicator of how well you're controlling your R naught. Now, the huge problem with this number here is this number here. 311,000 tests were taken yesterday. Now, that's a huge problem, and I'll show you why. Let's go to Australia. Let's go to tests, and let's just go. Where are we at? Okay. Let's go to a year ago, August. So a year ago, Victoria was in the middle of its outbreak, and they did the whole country did 59,000 tests, the whole country. So let's just say 60,000. Yesterday, New South Wales did 5 times that number. Yesterday, right? You go back to the early stages of COVID back here, we'll go over a month to do 300,000 tests at the beginning. We did 300,000 yesterday. So those numbers are, when you see, where are we? Test numbers. Where's the positivity rate? So this number here, this number skews that number a little bit. So you need to see this as a baseline. If you get down to here, so you cut this number in half, will this be 0.5 like this, or will it be like this? So So this is a good and a bad thing. More tests means we're getting more people through the door to contain the virus. We're catching things earlier potentially, but yeah, it's not. It's a hard number to extrapolate out. Anyway, there's your rundown on COVID if you're interested. As I said, I know a lot about that data. I did a lot of work a year and a bit ago when the virus first happened, tracking this stuff extensively. I actually had charts. I don't know where they are. I might not even have them anymore, to be honest. But I had all kinds of graphs and charts, and I was tracking all the data every day. And I had basically a model built. It was pretty accurate on where the virus would progress. So I know how the data works. Anyway, we got sidetracked. What if we played some video games now? That'd be kind of cool, wouldn't it? What's this? Why am I? All right, let's play some video games, shall we? All right, we're back in Humankind. And we can see that we've pushed back the Maya quite a bit. Enough with the old man stuff, bro. Jesus. We've pushed back the Maya a fair bit. And in fact, we now have one of their cities. They gave it to us. And this city here is now ours as well. So we took that one from them, that outpost, and they gave us this city when they sued for, or is that an outpost? I don't know. I think it's an outpost. Yeah, it's an outpost. They gave us that outpost as sort of a peace settlement. So what we need to do is we need to attach that outpost to a city. Did we evolve that into a city? Yeah, so I was curious, can I attach? Okay, I don't have enough influence. Okay. Excuse me. Sorry, I'm just trying to get the volume levels right. Because the music was quite loud. That's probably better. Okay. So this is important. All of these things are, this is where today when we're, well, the numbers are the numbers, right? I personally try not to worry about them from an emotional level, and focus on the fact that we just need to manage. The numbers are an indicator of how well we're managing the situation, right? And so the numbers are also a trailing indicator. So the numbers for something like COVID tell you what happened a week ago, because it takes 3 to 5 days for people to become symptomatic. And it doesn't matter how much early ring fencing and everything we do, you're still talking about what happened 3 to 5 days ago. And so what those numbers tell you is how well or how not well, unwell, the population is responding to the policy changes that as a government you made a week or so ago. or more, sorry, 2 weeks ago. So if we start to see the numbers improve, then there's a couple of things that are happening. One is probably the vaccinations are helping, but also too, people are responding to the lockdown better. But that's because of the changes that were made like a week or two ago. So rather than be upset by them or even concerned, concern is good, upset is not good. Just focus on what they're trying to tell you. All right, so stability is reduced as cities get larger by attaching territories. Okay. What's this? So we have low stability. Where is that low stability? Is that here? Yeah, so all of our... So that's concerning, right? Like all of our populations on here will increase the stability. It will evolve every turn by 5 until it reaches 58%. Expanding a city by adding districts decrease. So these actions are only available when the city's stability is sufficiently high, strained. This city's population becoming positive and negative events are equally likely to occur. This state will remain as long as your city stability stays between. Okay. Okay, so what about this? Okay. What about... Okay, so we got a problem with stability. Population can be moved from one sector to another to adapt your city's outputs. Oh, okay, that's cool. This city is now mutinous. Oh. Okay. Oh, that's interesting. So this place is really stable. That's good. Okay. What about this one? One of them was in a rebellious state. Okay. Where was that one? It was this guy, wasn't it? How do I get back to that screen? Okay, so we need to focus on stability. So let's go in here and so this will increase stability. This will increase stability. A farmer's quarters. So this will reduce stability. I don't understand. Okay. Okay, well, we'll put it here. Okay. An artisan's. Let's put it here. Okay. And you there. You're attached to Babylon. And The striking area of towering this temple, but does not count. Must be placed next to a woodland or forest. Can be built once in the world. So, can Babylon build that? Okay, so we're going to build that. And we're going to build that. Okay. So, let's send these guys here. And let's send these guys here. And then can we send these guys here? Yeah. Oh, no. You guys go there. You guys. No, you go. Anyway, we'll send you back. So let's stop building. Let's stop that. And focus on that. Let's start building out our stuff and have less sort of military ambitions. What are you? What are you doing? Okay, so this is a stable area. Okay. Let's get you building philosophical and gruesome. Let's do that. And what else? Infrastructure. Let's build you some infrastructure. Okay. And we'll build the public fountain. Okay. Where is the army that's idle? They're exhausted. Where are you? Show me. Show yourselves. You just stay there. Okay. So we really need to get our stability lifted. We need to start expanding our cities and improving. Okay, so Sipar gained, yep. We've got new grievance. The Maya annexed the... Wait, what?
Those lands belong to me. Me. Get out of my sight!
No, I don't care. The Maya make the following demand. What? Are we going to have to go back to war with these people? Okay. Like, that's not really acceptable. So this is just not a good outcome. Okay, so let's go to the technology screen. What do we need? Okay, so we've got all this done. What does that give us? By progressing the myriad of arts, culture from individual to skilled, executed with, yep. Conquest. Controlling newly requires more logistical effort. Logistical concerns likely. Let's learn that. And then let's learn that. and that. Okay. That's good. The only game in the world has come to you that the annual festival in Babylon has added a foot race. The short race is most popular among the worshippers and has given you an idea. During this time of peace, there is danger the Empire's armies lose their edge. This single race could be expanded into a series of games where rival cities and fighting units send athletes to compete against each other. What type of games do you wish to promote, though? Let's do strength. Okay. You. What?
Did you think you could keep those lands? Did you?
Damnation! Maybe I was hasty in my demands. Forget them.
Okay.
I see you can learn. Well done.
Victory at the Battle of Tevel. Okay. So we've got one army now. We could march them. We could march our armies over to Sus and just take it. We could do that. But you know what? I'm gonna station them here. For the time being. So now, what's going on in this territory? So, stability is improved, I think. Uh, 49. Okay. How do I turn this into... So I need a lot more of that. This concerns me. As does that. I might have to get back into the war business here. So they can move a lot more. The upkeep is less. I'm going to have to build one of those. And I'm going to have to build it ahead of whatever else I was doing. What are these people celebrating? Okay. You know what? You lot. You're going over here. Oh, wait. I've decided we need to get on a war footing again. Them taking that land was a problem. Okay. You guys. head over here. Oh, okay, so yeah, that's right. They're a rented army. Okay, let's move. I started out, I wanted to focus on whatever that was. This is becoming a huge problem.
Pleased to make your
Okay, so we're starting to see increasing war support now. You are preventing the faithful from practicing. Their grievance. You attacked me. I don't care about their. Okay. You lot. Okay. Target another empire or a minute with an army. Forcibly add it to your. Okay. So pretty soon we're going to have more units available to us, which is good. Babylon's... Oh, okay. Tevo converted to a new religion. Let's go next. Yep. Yep, that's fine. We'll wait. We'll add them. Okay. And we'll move them here. So where are we at with our...
pleased to make your acquaintance again.
Yep. So the support for war is increasing. How many more turns? How many more turns does this have to go? Okay, we'll just wait it out. Perfect. We're the leader of religion. Good to see. Perfect. Okay. We'll just wait. Yep. Okay, so now we can do Conquest. Another Era Star. How are we going? One more turn, eh? So we'll skip. We'll skip. We'll end.
First ship, you can protect your interests far from home. And maybe redefine what those interests are.
Alright. Alright. We're going. Okay, time for some more. Okay. All right. Let's go have a look here. Now, yep. So now we're going to go over here.
My attention.
So we're at a state of war. Their grievances. I don't care. You can have all the grievances you want. We're coming for you.
You have my attention.
All right. So we've now won that. That's mine. Perfect. All right. I think we need to press our victory, our situation here. Can I extend that? Okay. Let's send you over to Tevel. What's going on? The capture of the great city of Sus was a proud day for your empire. Marching through its gates, however, it was clear the defeated citizens were equally proud of their own cult. What do you want to make of their customs and rights? Understood. So this will be good for +5 stability.
They say
Okay.
alloys are stronger than pure metals.
Let's
I guess we're going to see how far that metaphor applies to human societies.
So what's going on here? Okay, so we're very stable now. Okay, so what about you lot? They're not. Okay, that's okay. And you? you... Okay, so we're improving our stability up this way. Now, over here. We need to get these soldiers. I don't think I'm going to get them where they need to be, but... Okay. Which city is idle? Okay. I'm going to get you to build another one of these guys. And in fact, I'm going to get you to build 2 of them. Yep. Let's get after that. All right. Urgent affairs. The Empire's achievements in the sciences are already a matter of great pride. Now, a bright, industrious woman hailing from the Empire's most renowned center of learning, Babylon, has presented you with an atlas of the heavens, dividing the stars into their wheeling nature, once the domain of the gods alone, are now human comfort. How should it be used? Let's educate people. Okay. Okay. Yep. Hiring contract ending. Can I extend it? Is there a way to extend that? Oh well. Okay. No. I want to hire you. Renting those mercenaries under your command. They will be rented for 20. Cannot be done as the independent. Should I just wipe them out? Yeah. Let's just... I'm just ruthless. They were my allies for a large part of this war effort, and I just wiped them out. Okay. Good for Omega. Okay. Yep. Omega. Okay. Okay. Close to a war victory. Acknowledge. Okay. During the recent brutal battle, many soldiers sustained horrific injuries before returning to call. Some, their whole careers have changed. Their whole characters change. Others suffer. Some forced to use crutches. Among the citizens, fear mixes with admiration as they spy on them. Your lead will be, how do you welcome your crippled soldiers? Let's glorify them. Okay, so You're going to contribute to the war effort. And then what else are you going to do? Oh, that's all you can do. Okay. Babylon's population. What's going on down there? They need more food or something? Okay. A schism in the heart. Followers of the Empire's religion continue to grow, but within the temples and holy places, tensions brew. Sadly, the blossoming of interpretations of religious tenets is leading to schisms of as worshippers place more or less import on different rules. It speaks to a wider question of how entire religion should be seen. Is religious harmony something to aspire to? Show the details. What do we want? Let's be open-minded.
Well and good, until they start worshipping delivery services and bank accounts.
I don't care about that. All right. You lot. Let's go. Yep. Yep. All right. So we're getting there. All right. Omga. Yeah, we know. Wait a second. All right. Wow, we lost a boat ton of people. We lost? Oh, that's bad news. How did that happen? Oh dear. Very bad. Not a good outcome. You need to start making, hustling. That was bad news. What happened?
A delight to see you again.
While having this badge, its owner gains some more support when destroying enemy. Wow. No. Okay, you are at war. Wow. We're in a lot of trouble here. What? How did they do that? Oh man, come on. Wow. Hello. No, I'm gonna be here for a little bit. This is not ideal. Okay. Oh. We're in a lot of trouble here. Okay. We need a war effort here. What are you doing? You need to start producing how do I cancel that? Yeah. Okay, and okay. Where else? Okay. I need... No. Where are these guys? You need to make haste. Over here. As the harvest season, common folk are worried with many farms scattered across the last year, an infestation of rodent and plunder. Rumors have it that one enterprise migrated by using cats, but you know, sailors using cats are bigger and can't catch all the mice, but they are more resilient, smaller. Okay. Come on, man. What are you doing? Why can't you... What is going on with this unit? You need to build... Okay. Okay, go.
Your empire becomes one of the giants, astride the globe. And what will you do with this power?
Yep. Imperial power. Okay. Yep. knowledge. Close your population. Okay, we need to get hustling here. Why? What's going on? Let's go. Okay, so we'll learn that. And we'll end our turn.
5 farmers' quarters for 1 city. Somebody is going down in history with the title of the Satiated.
Perfect. I need you to build chariot. And then you can build yeah, okay. Let's go. Yep. Perfect. Where are we at here? Your opponent's population had enough to take advantage. Okay.
You have done a great thing.
It seems the only remaining course
All right.
is surrender.
We've won that war too. That was close. I pretty much thought we were going to lose. I thought we were in a lot of trouble there. Okay, let's
Oh. I have a proposal for you.
they refuse.
Impossible! The proposal is worse than bad poetry and would last longer.
And? I will have you skinned should you ignore these demands.
Okay. Let's keep. We got a nail. What are you guys going on there? Okay, you're building a granary. And then a research quarter. Let's do the research quarter over here. Okay. Then we're going to attach you. Okay. And now we may need to... Okay. What else do we have? We may need to just go get rid of these people. Hey. Wow. Where are the rest of our soldiers?
Follow me.
Okay. Let's just hold off on that for now. Which army? Oh, yeah, okay, these guys, eh? You know what? I don't like that village over here. So I think we're going to go deal with that. The Maya make the following demand. Why are they making demands?
Pleased to make your acquaintance again.
You thought I would buy this? Get out of my sight.
Fulfilling my demands is no longer necessary.
No. We're going to...
Lucky to know me.
The descendant of a filthy wretched man has come to your empire, claiming to be a descendant of one of the ancient rulers of Sus. Without fear, he boldly tells you that his people are owed great restitution for the grave offenses during. However, he is willing to forego this redress. You fulfill divine, let him lead Sus. He promises that fulfilling the prophecy will see riches come. Deny him, and he promises to bring war and famine. What is your choice? Okay. So, okay. Actually, you know what? Let's stop. Let's split them off. No, I don't want to disband them. Okay. why make it to... We're gonna... Wow, they're very...
You have my attention.
Wait, what? Propose that both empires abandon their demands and return to a stable previously...
These escalating demands serve neither of us.
Impossible! The proposal is worse than bad poetry and would last longer.
Okay. Wow. What's going on? The large number of farming has led to blossoming of knowledge plants. The Empire peace and stable enough to support such a move. Never before has there been a better time to make official status of your most learned brother. Do you wish to found a caste? Okay. We're gonna need you to build these guys.
Forget the demands.
How is it? Way down there.
We'll just station them for now. Okay, so we're in trouble here. Holy crow.
Let's go.
Over this way.
Don't waste my time here.
I keep losing the war. And that's not entertaining. Well, I have to go back. I'm not sure how we sort of ended up in this position where we've suddenly become weaker than these people. You're going to need to build what are we missing? Oh, we don't have enough of that. Okay. Okay.
You have my attention, briefly.
You should listen to this.
Impossible! The proposal is worse than bad poetry and would last longer.
Okay.
I heard you.
We're kind of in trouble here because we can't really make enough war pieces Um, okay. What other warlike societies do we have? Naval, the English. Okay. Automatically upgrades regular outpost. No, I don't need that. I don't need the elephants. The Teutonic Knights would be kind of cool. I don't really need that kind of religion, though. This is, yeah, it's a bit frustrating. Okay. I can't adopt that. Adopt this culture, preventing... Okay. The Ghanaians. Let's do that. Whatever. Okay, so let's what can we do here?
Wisdom and technical innovation from earlier eras.
Somehow
Humankind knew knowledge, and we immediately use it to find new ways to kill each other off. Greater empires build more powerful armies, but brute strength may be defeated by superior innovations. It is brains versus brawn, with ever richer cities as tempting spoils for the victor.
I think that's what we need.
Teutons did indeed have great cities with great cathedrals, but don't forget their great armies with great ambitions.
Okay, I think that's got to be the play. Is those cities over there? We need to okay. I think we need to get those cities sort of fortified up. Detaches this territory from its city in order to attach it to a different city. Yes. And then how do I do that? There we go. That's what we want. And now what do I want? I want I want to do actually maybe hold on. What does barracks do? Housing the city soldiers in a single dedicated debauchery, but enables sufficient training, lowers military costs. Okay, let's just wait there. Do we have any other regiments? So we've... Okay. Okay. Yes. Yes. Okay, well, you're going to have to build something. Okay, what are we going to have to get? Where do we get, okay, let's get on to that. And, let's get on to, and then that. Let's go. War is underway. Wait, what? Okay, we need to take these archers out. So we'll use these guys to go after the archers. Oh, shit. Far out. Oh, man. Oh, for heaven's sakes. Okay, this is not ideal. Holy crow, how many people do they have? Where are they getting all this from? I need to get rid of this. Oh, for heaven's sakes. Oh.
You're lucky I deigned to speak with you.
No. I'm done. I can't work out what's going on here. Where are they getting all these soldiers from? Like, they just seem to have an unlimited supply of soldiers. So I'm done. This sort of became suddenly very unfun. Yeah, became not entertaining. So don't want to play that. You can't have that kind of unbalance. They have seemingly unending supplies of people, and they're a much smaller empire than I am. So it's not that's not fun. So we'll finish that for tonight. If we're gonna play, we'll have to build a new game. It's really frustrating, these games at the moment, because like that's not balanced. On an easy mode, because I'm just trying to learn the game. On an easy mode like that, to just have that kind of an imbalance in the system where a smaller empire seemingly has effectively unlimited resources, and there's no explanation for anything, and the war mechanics are it's an interesting style of mechanic, but I'm not sure how their tolerance for war goes to 0 and then gets back up so quickly. It doesn't make any sense. And after I've defeated them, there's no, I can't not defeat them. So they get to 0 and I can't steamroll them. Like the first time when I defeated them, I should have been able to just keep beating them and take everything from them and destroy them, but it wouldn't let me. I had to have peace with them, and they didn't honor that. It's just stupid. It's just broken. So we'll play a new version of it. We'll play it tomorrow or something, or the next day or whatever, and we'll try again. But that's not how these games should work. Like I have to be able to defeat the enemy, not the enemy gives up and then immediately starts building for war again. Because I have no opportunity to, I have no opportunity to build. I spend all of my time, waiting for them to rebuild to attack me. Doesn't make sense. Unless I'm missing something. That mechanic is stupid, where they sue for peace and then immediately start building for war again. I don't have a chance to move on, and I don't have a chance to destroy them all. It's just really dumb, and I can't then attack them straight away. It doesn't make sense. There's something not right with it. So I'm either not understanding it, or there's a busted element to the game. Not fun. That was not fun. That was 2 hours of shit, basically. So I'm pretty disappointed. I'm actually glad I got a refund on that game, because it's very beautiful to look at, but it's not as good as Civ. I don't care what anyone says. With Civ, there's a simplicity to it. This game is overly complex and not clear. Yeah, that's probably the best way to describe it. This is not as good as Civ, because Civ is easier to understand and it's more direct. So I think I'll dig tomorrow to figure it out and see what happened. But then I might join their Discord and just say, hey, this doesn't make sense that I defeat them, they ask for peace, and then immediately they start building for war again. It's like they don't want peace. So it goes to 0 support, and then immediately they're building up for war, for more. It's stupid. It's not fun. And that's an easy setting, right? Like, I'm not terrible at these games But that was just relentless war. That they then seemingly had endless pieces. I can't work it out. So anyway, we'll be figuring that out in their Discord, and then if they don't give me a good answer, one of the problems in these Discord groups with these developers is that their fans are actually kind of toxic in their Discord. It's never, oh, well, here's what it is, or, you know, yeah, that doesn't work quite right, or here's what's actually happening. It's get good, or something stupid like that. So I kind of am learning a lesson through this process of the Discord groups are stupid. Very few. So one of the games, I think it was Kingdoms Reborn, which is actually a good game. Their Discord group was quite helpful. It's sort of indicative of the game, where the people were in agreement with the problems and whatever. But like City of Gangsters is another great example, where you go into their Discord and you say to them, like, there's things that are wrong. No, it's not. It's meant to be like that. No, it's not. Even like the developers even come back and say, yeah, it's not balanced, or yeah, that shouldn't have done that. And this, I'm sure this will be the same. I'm sure this one will be the same, where it's get good, something stupid like that. So, but I'll try and figure it out, because but it's not, the game's not as good as Civ. So like, you just, all the talk of this game during its build up was, is this game as good as Civ or better than? It's not. It's not as good as Civ. Civ has a simplicity to it that's better than Humankind. Humankind is overly complex in places, unnecessarily so, and so therefore it tends not to be fun at times. But that whole session just then was utterly relentless, and not fun. I had no way out of that hole. And I was winning. That was the other part that doesn't make sense, is I was actually winning. And the weaker side just seemingly found an unending supply of units to fight with. Like, how in the rest of their empire were they able to do it? Like, I can't do anything. I don't know. Doesn't make much sense. Well, I'm glad I refunded that game and got it on Xbox Game Pass, because I would have been, to spend $80 Australian on that, I've been pretty disappointed. So I'm pretty happy with the outcome so far. But we'll see. We'll maybe play it again tomorrow. If not, we might do something else. But yeah. Thanks if you stopped in. I appreciate it. Yeah. I'm gonna go on another 5-minute rant. I don't give a shit. It's my show. One of the things about this game that clearly there's something not right is that you had all of these quote unquote influencers in the gaming space who are hyping this game pretty hard, and they all suddenly got their own custom avatars, obviously built by the developer to promote the game, and none of them are playing it now that it's been released. So I get marketing, right? I get that there's an element of marketing to it, right? I can understand that they use those people to promote the game to their audience. I get that. But there's an element to it that's also somewhat disingenuous, because the reality is, if it was as good as they said it was, why aren't they playing it? I know one or two people are. and because I subscribe to their channels on YouTube, so I see it. But a lot of the people who were pushing this game in its pre-launch with custom avatars and, oh, I'm so excited about it. I haven't seen a single tweet from them about it. So it was like the developers paid them to promote it and then not play it. Or they played it once and they stopped. I think that's always a bad sign. I think avoid the hype. So, this game got a lot of good press, and so far my experience with it was mixed. The first game I played was, honestly, it's a bit boring. The start of this game is kind of boring, and then once you get past that initial start, it was actually fun. And then today was not fun. Today was relentless. Victory was rewarded with pain, which is just stupid. It's just, when you defeat somebody, they should be defeated. They shouldn't be able to go back to war with you for a certain amount of time, or they should have to accept peace, right? But those people didn't. So there's something not quite right with it. The mechanics are not right. They're wrong. So, and if it turns out that that's how it's meant to be, I'm not going to play that anymore because it's not fun. This is the good thing about Civ is with Civ, there's lots of ways to win, right? You don't have to, but in this game, it's pretty obvious. In this game, you just have to build military units and fortifications. It's effectively a war simulator, which is okay, but I don't like those games. I don't play them. So if that's what this is, that there's no other way to win than just building lots of military, then I'm not interested in a turn-based war simulator. I don't like Total War for that, and I'm not gonna play this for that because it just confuses the point of the game. If the point of the game is just to build military units and go around kill people, all this other stuff about culture, and it's just a waste. It's just pretty cutscenes and witty banter. It doesn't do anything. And the way that resources are allocated, it's not good either. It's not. Yeah, you can't have a unit available to your culture, and the unit, the resource just isn't on the map. What's the point of that? There's just a lot. I don't know. I don't know if it's just early development or if it's just bad design. I think the next time somebody comes along and says they have a Civ killer, I won't even bother. Because they're not. They're none of them are. None of them are ever Civ killers. They're not that good. That's why I wanted to play Old World. But then I kind of went. I actually went and watched a couple of videos of people playing. This doesn't look like it's a lot of fun. This kind of looks like sort of drudgery. So, and this game turned into drudgery, which is not fun. It's actually really not fun to stream a game where it's just incredibly frustrating to play. So we won't be doing that again. If that was how the game is meant to play, I won't play it anymore on stream because it's not entertaining. Like there was a time in the middle of this stream where probably for 5 minutes I didn't say a word because I couldn't work out what was going on. I couldn't work out why I was just under, like, where did all their military power come from? Where did their military power come from? They had just lost a war. They had just surrendered and given up cities, and yet they somehow had all this military power. Why did they Why did they give up? They had all that military power. Like, it doesn't make sense. So I'm a little bit frustrated. I think that whole war support mechanic is interesting, but there's something about it doesn't work right. So leave it at that. But anyway, thanks again for stopping in. Not happy that the way the game went, but that's sometimes the way it goes. I'll be back tomorrow. I'm not sure what I'm going to play. I don't know if I'll play this again. I'd say if I do, I'll start again. I probably won't pick up that save again. I don't know what's wrong with it, but it doesn't seem sensible. Yeah. Thanks a lot for dropping in, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.